You have key provinces like what you mentioned earlier, a lot of areas in the country, at least now loosening restrictions. Key provinces now testing the alert level system, Cebu and Davao included, as well as provinces from Region 4. How might this push figures for the fourth quarter?
So I think more and more companies are going to expand in the provinces, and I want to commend again Mayor Treñas of Iloilo, the darling of the BPO sector, because it has received a very large proportion of all the office space that went to the provinces. In fact, it received something like close to 40% of all office leasing outside of Manila in the BPO space, and that's why MegWorld and SM are all enjoying record rents in Iloilo because there's more demand than there is supply, and so I congratulate those two companies also. And there will be more geographies because the BPO sector is looking for more labor markets to tap into, and so um, another very interesting development is North Ilocos Norte in Lawag and San Nicolas because they surprised everyone. Many of the companies you brought there started off with 500 people, and now they have 2,000, 3,000 people. Totally unexpected. And I think Tugigaraw should be fit for expansion of the BPO. I think Bohol should be a great option, and Puerto Princesa. And that's just three or four of my top picks of many, many other cities.
Okay. Now, other than BPOs, what's interesting about your report reading through it is that you still seem bullish over Pogos despite what many dogs its
Yes,
exodus. What's driving this
yes.
confidence?
So uh, we've had a bell curve in terms of office contractions. So office contractions are companies that are terminating their leases and shrinking in size, and so that became bell shaped, and we have the contractions have been at the slowest it's ever been to date
Mm-hmm.
since the start of this global COVID crisis. And that is a very strong sign that companies are done contracting. And the biggest contractor in all industries is the POGO sector. They comprise about close to 55% of all contractions in the country. And I'm glad to say that they seem to have stopped contracting. And so if you look at the total footprint of Pogo office space, 1.7 million square meters, they contracted something like 35% of their entire footprint. And it looks like they have stopped at that point. And so now that we've opened up the country to foreigners coming back into the Philippines, that's going to reactivate the labor market for the Pogo sector, and that's going to populate their office space again. And I'm hoping that in a few months' time, they're going to start expanding.
Okay, again, when talking about Pogos, for a period, it has also bolstered the residential market. So does that mean that there's much hope as well for the sector?
Yeah, the hardest hit sector is well, besides retail and hotel, of course, is the mid-end condominium market, and rents there, especially in the Bay Area, have come down by as much as 35-40%, and that's because of the loss of the POGO sector. Just as they contracted 500 something thousand square meters of office space, they probably contracted 600 to 700,000 square meters of residential space. But now we're hearing and seeing traction in dorm space and condominium space again being eaten up by Pogo. And that's going to just keep increasing as more and more foreigners come back to work in the Philippines.